Have you ever pondered about the PACT Act and how it benefits veterans? The PACT Act, or Promises Act as some may call it, is a game changer for veterans' healthcare and benefits, especially those exposed to toxic substances. It's an epoch-making leap in care and services for our brave veterans and their families. This law stretches the boundaries of eligibility for healthcare, spanning across various eras of service. It introduces over 20 new presumptive conditions related to toxic exposures. From the 5th of March 2024, it has accelerated access to VA healthcare for millions of veterans, well ahead of its initial schedule. The PACT Act's reach includes veterans from the Vietnam War, Gulf War, and post-9/11 service periods, especially those exposed to specific toxins or hazards. It mandates a toxic exposure screening for every veteran enrolled in VA healthcare, stepping up research and treatment related to toxic exposures. Now that we've touched on what the PACT Act is, let's delve into its inception. The roots of the PACT Act are deeply intertwined with the plight of veterans. This law, standing for Providing Appropriate Care and Treatment, emerged from a pressing need to address the health concerns of veterans exposed to harmful substances during their service. The inception of the PACT Act was driven by the realization that many of our bravest were returning home, not to the joy of normalcy, but to the battle of debilitating health conditions. Veterans from various service periods, from the jungles of Vietnam to the deserts of Iraq, found themselves grappling with diseases that were a direct result of their exposure to toxic substances during their tours of duty. The PACT Act was conceived to fill a glaring gap in veteran healthcare. It was clear that the existing framework was ill-equipped to deal with the unique health challenges that our veterans were facing. These brave individuals were being diagnosed with conditions like various cancers, respiratory issues, high blood pressure, and a peculiar condition known as monoclonal gammopathy of undetermined significance, or MGUS, among others. The PACT Act was designed to address these specific health concerns. It broadened the eligibility for healthcare to include veterans from different service eras who were exposed to specific toxins or hazards. It introduced over 20 new presumptive conditions related to toxic exposure, conditions that would be automatically linked to service without the need for veterans to prove causation. In addition, the PACT Act mandated a toxic exposure screening for every veteran enrolled in VA healthcare. This was a significant step in enhancing research and treatment related to toxic exposures. It accelerated access to VA healthcare for millions of veterans, well ahead of its initial schedule. The PACT Act wasn't just about healthcare, though. It extended its remit to include compensation and other benefits for the families of veterans who suffered from service-connected disabilities. This was a clear recognition of the sacrifices that these families made and continue to make. The PACT Act was born out of necessity and represents a promise to our veterans. Now let's explore how this act has evolved. The PACT Act has grown and evolved, always with the best interests of our veterans at heart. From its inception, the PACT Act has been a beacon of hope and support for veterans. But it didn't start out as comprehensive as it is today. It has undergone numerous enhancements and modifications over time, each one aimed at addressing the evolving needs of our veterans. Initially, the act was designed to provide healthcare and benefits to veterans exposed to specific toxic substances. However, as the understanding of exposure-related health issues broadened, so did the PACT Act. It's a testament to our commitment to adapt and evolve to ensure no veteran is left behind. One of the major amendments to the act was the expansion of eligibility across various eras of service. It was a significant change that acknowledged the varying risks and hazards faced by veterans from different periods, from the Vietnam War to the Gulf War and the post-9/11 service periods. A crucial evolution was the introduction of over 20 new presumptive conditions related to toxic exposures. This meant that a range of conditions, from various cancers to respiratory issues, were automatically linked to service, eliminating the need for veterans to prove causation. It was a monumental leap in recognizing the sacrifices our veterans made. The act also evolved to mandate a toxic exposure screening for every veteran enrolled in VA healthcare. This move enhanced research and treatment related to toxic exposures, furthering our understanding and ability to help those affected. Another significant evolution was the extension of support to survivors. The act began to offer compensation and other benefits to families of veterans who suffered from service-connected disabilities, showing our gratitude not just to those who served but also to their families. The PACT Act has come a long way since its inception, always striving to serve our veterans better. Now let's look at the current state of the act. The PACT Act today is a comprehensive law that caters to a wide range of veterans' needs. It's a law that has evolved significantly, expanding the scope of healthcare and benefits for veterans who have been exposed to various toxins and hazards during their service. This law now includes veterans from different eras of service, from the Vietnam War to the Gulf War, and post-9/11 service periods, especially those veterans who were exposed to specific toxins such as burn pits, Agent Orange, and other toxic substances. These veterans are now eligible for health care under the PACT Act, and the law mandates a toxic exposure screening for every veteran enrolled in VA healthcare. The PACT Act has also introduced over 20 new presumptive conditions related to toxic exposures. For instance, a range of conditions from various cancers to respiratory issues are now considered presumptive for Gulf War and post-9/11 veterans. This means these conditions are automatically linked to their service, without the need for proof of causation. In the case of Vietnam-era veterans, conditions like high blood pressure and monoclonal gammopathy of undetermined significance, or MGUS, have been added to the list of Agent Orange presumptive conditions. This broadened eligibility reflects the PACT Act's commitment to addressing the unique health needs of our veterans. Furthermore, the PACT Act doesn't just stop at the veterans. It extends its support to survivors as well, providing compensation and other benefits to families of veterans who have suffered from service-connected disabilities. This comprehensive approach ensures that veterans and their families receive the recognition, care, and support they deserve for their service and sacrifices. The PACT Act today stands as a testament to our commitment to our veterans. It's a law that has been designed with the welfare of our veterans in mind, ensuring they receive the care and support they need. And with that, it's time we wrap up our discussion. Stay tuned for the next scene where we will summarize the PACT Act and its impact on veterans' lives. The PACT Act is more than just a law, it's a commitment to our veterans. This historic legislation has significantly expanded healthcare and benefits for veterans exposed to toxic substances like burn pits and Agent Orange. It has broadened eligibility across various service eras, introducing over 20 new conditions presumed to be related to toxic exposures. From the Vietnam War to the Gulf War and the post-9/11 service periods, veterans who served and were exposed to specific toxins now have accelerated access to VA healthcare. In addition, the PACT Act mandates a toxic exposure screening for every veteran in VA healthcare, driving forward research and treatment related to toxic exposures. And let's not forget the survivors. The Act offers compensation and other benefits to families of veterans who suffered from service-connected disabilities. In essence, the PACT Act represents our nation's gratitude and commitment to our veterans, ensuring they receive the care, compensation, and support they rightly deserve. Remember, a nation that forgets its defenders will itself be forgotten. Thank you for your service. Scene 6. Engaging our audience. Before we wrap up, we want to take a moment to invite you to be part of our community. If you found this video informative and want to stay updated with more content like this, make sure to hit the like button below and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us continue to provide valuable content like this, and we truly appreciate it. Remember, when you engage with our content, you're not just learning about important topics like the PACT Act, you're also supporting our mission to educate and inform. Thank you for your support.